from left, right, and center. But at least it gives me that opportunity that even after this particular scholarship, I'm able to, go back and begin to pick them one after the other and begin to practice them, begin to do projects on them, and I get better at them. So it's generally an eye opener for me, and a motivation towards becoming better off after the program. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. That is fantastic. Okay. So, who next? Who wants to go next? Who wants to go next? Yep. Do I need to call names right now? I know a number of us have been consistent in class. Yeah, it's normal that after the first week, second week, let's say the third week, some people begin to drop back. It's just very normal. Sometimes it is you know, a number of people try these out to just find out, okay, let's even see whether it's something I'll be interested in. Do you understand? So over time, they now feel like, oh, come on, this is getting too much for me. Then they start to draw back. So, and it's very much expected that after some time, it's not everyone that gets started with this is definitely going to end with it. So you know that. But for you to have gotten to this very stage and you're still very much alive with us, then you should applaud yourself for it. Anything you want, it's not just about this program now. Anything you want out of life, you have to be deliberate. I mean, you have to really be deliberate about it. Otherwise, it will remain a wish and it will never be done. So you have to be deliberate, intentional, and taking actions that are needed. Actions that are needed in order for it to be done. So that's why I would say to people that have been consistent here throughout this program that well done to you. And of course, congratulations for making it this far. But I want you to know that this is just the beginning. With what you have learned so far, if you are giving, I can say that if you pay attention to them and you are very, very deliberate about learning them, you can function effectively as a junior quality assurance engineer anywhere. You can function effectively as a junior QA engineer anywhere. This program, you guys were giving projects, right? So the project you are giving to do, it's part of your training that you should not take lightly. So yeah, that's okay. I like the feedback I'm getting from you guys. So we're just going to get started today. I'm not going to be sharing slides. I'm just going to go into some basics. And yeah, this part is just a basic thing. For those who joined the webinar last month, you must have learned some of these things already. So it's just still the basics, nothing really outrageous. There's going to be a premium course after the Quad 4. I think Quad 4 is getting started this month as well. So after Quad 4, we are going to a full premium course for those who wants to go into, who wants to learn further in QA. And there we'll go deeper into Cypress, web automation, and all of that. So performance testing, cybersecurity, and what have you. So we are going to go into all of that in the premium course. But for this very one, it will not make any sense if you have gone through 6 weeks and you don't even know what test automation is, right? You don't even know what test automation is about. So, and that was the essence of this course. For those who have who were in the quart 1 and quart 2, I don't think we at any point taught you guys test automation, and that's why I am giving you guys the chance to join us today to learn it as well. Okay, so there was a recorded videos, a playlist on YouTube, on our YouTube channels, that was shared with us. How many of us have gone through those videos? Or at least, I mean, not necessarily everything, but we have gone through the process of Cypress installation, um, assertions, and what have you. But let's even say Cypress installation, how to install Cypress, getting your work station environment set up, getting it done. We have done that. Because the reason I'm asking this, I'm not going to go that I'm not going to that here. I'm not going to go into all of that here. Today's class is not going to take too much time. It's not going to be straightforward, and we are done. Then tomorrow we are probably going to automate a form tomorrow, and then that will be it. So anyone like that who have gone through the video? So should I assume that no one has prepared for this class? Okay. Are we saying no one has gone through the videos at all? Okay. Okay. Copy. All right. So, what is Cypress? Maybe start from there. What is Cypress all about? Why are we even doing Cypress in the first place? Or let me even say, what is test automation? Can anyone tell me? You can check Google and tell me what test automation is. You can check. You can check. You can check. Yeah. I want this class to be interactive today. What is test automation? What do you think test automation is about? Why do we need test automation? Why is it important for software testers? Anyone?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, automation can be explained the process of automating whereby you set certain instructions, uh, um, such as codes for tests where you have to do repeatedly over and over again. So at the long run, it is faster and more accurate, and initially it can looks expensive, but at the long run, it is way more cheaper.
Okay, thank you. Who else? Anyone else? If you're not answering, I'll start doing a roll call. Yeah, hello, please. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Uh, Test automation is the practice of using software tools and scripts to automatically execute tests on your application. Instead of doing it manually, you use tools and software to make it easier, quicker, and more efficient.
Okay. Beautiful stuff. Okay. Any other person? Any other person? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so you have said the reason for why we need this automation. Some of you have talked about why it is if the importance. Someone talked about cost, that over time it becomes easy, right? Okay. So Okay. So someone just said that it is because overtime becomes less expensive. It makes your work more efficient. Yeah. All of you are practically correct. You are correct. Um, who is currently a Q engineer and works in an agile environment? Anyone like that? Do you know what the agile environment is even about? Agile software development environment. If you are working on agile environment, you would probably have a lot of work to do as a Q engineer. You will be having maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks sprint of work. So when I say sprint, um, it's simply a period of time where features of the system are being developed in iterations. So okay, someone is putting something in the box. Mike, test automation is the use of software to execute pre-scripted test on an application comparing actual results to expected results. Okay, so Mike, if you say comparing actual result against expected, how do you do that in automation? How do you even compare actual against expectation? How is that done? Can you tell me that? Have you heard about assertions before? Assertions. Assert. So assertions are the ways to find out whether your actual result is matching against the expected result. Are you following me? Hello guys, are you following me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So it's a way to make you know whether your actual result actually matches your expected. So that's what assertion is about. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen very soon. But I want us to learn some things. So consider yourself working in an agile environment where, especially when you are not even the only software tester on the team, and on a team of, let's say, 12 developers, 6 backend, 6 front end, and then you are the only QA. That's when you will know what burnout is about, what we call burnout, or what we call overworking. That's when you understand that statement. Then for you now, how do you automate? How do you make your work easy for you over on the long run? Actually, it's not going to be easy at first because you are expected to perform all the repetitive tasks without the use of a tool. And you're also now expected to deliver on those tasks, right? At the end of the day, you still have to now automate the system so that you are able to run your repetitive tasks. Now, in the webinar class, how many of us, if you are not in the webinar, can you raise your hand? If you are not there, can you raise your hand? I want to know those who are not there so that I can know whether to even say some things or just move ahead. Oh, Immaculate, you're not there. Who else? I got you. So you're not in the webinar, Luwali. So who else was in on the webinar call last month? Oh, Michael wasn't there too. Okay, because of you guys, I'll probably have to brush some things before we jump into automating a particular web page. Yeah. Okay. I could have just said, oh, you guys should go and pick up the video, but I won't do that. All right. So let me bring up the material for that particular webinar so we can look at it together. Okay. Who's raising hands now? Okay, that's a message. Just a moment. Webinar. I think we had a webinar in January 24, I guess. Just a moment to bring that up. Webinar. Okay. And I found webinar document. Okay. Oops. That's not there. Just a moment. It's not where I thought I will find it. Okay. So if you are automating a system, I mean, if you are testing a system, that was a system I tested in 2022. Yeah, in 2022, the name of that system is called Credit 360. 360, as we know, 360 means when you say 360 degree, it means full cycle. It means full cycle. So just like a whole year. So it means full cycle 360 degree, right? So credit 360 means so we call it credit. The name of application is called Credit 360. So now credit is all about loan processing. Someone's mic is on. Can you please hold it? Someone's mic is on. Okay. Now, so credit is all about credit processing, credit originating credit from when a user comes to the bank and say, oh, I want to borrow money, whether it is money for a corporate or individual financial, use for individual financial use or for corporate financial use. Okay. It still doesn't matter. It's just all about, okay, I want money. So you are able to now give that client or that user the money. So all the processes that are involved in collecting the customer's detail, logging the sending, requesting for the loan facility, sending it for approval processes, up to when the amount is, approved, offer letter is sent, all of that down to the disbursement of the fund, right? And even after disbursement, down to, after disbursement, the management of it, that's recovery, repayment. You can even do extension of the loan facility. So there are a lot of different products that has to do with borrowing. So that was what the application is about. So this application has more than 3,000 features. Now, imagine testing that kind of software that has over 3,000 features, a very, 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 very large application. So imagine testing such, and then you are reporting bugs, and you are reporting like 200 bugs on one system, and then the developer fixes a certain part of those bugs or fix those bugs, and then you go back to test all those bugs, 200 bugs, and then after retesting them, you find out that 40 of them failed again. You take it back, they fix everything, you come back again and retest those 40. After retesting those 40, you now go back to retest the whole 3,000 features because one bug was fixed. Then maybe after retesting the whole 3,000 features, you now discover that 2 of them were failing. Then the 2 that were failing, you take them back to fix. After they fix those 2, you come back again to run all the 3,000, features to be sure that they are working. So imagine if you look, that cycle keep going on and on like that. In no time you get burnout. In no time you get tired of the job itself. So that's why you need test automation. So once the test automation is in place, you just automate the whole system, right? And then you just keep running your scripts. So wherever things failed, you just tell them, oh, this particular place has failed. They go and fix. You just relaxing or you're updating your script there and there. Then when they are done, you run your script again. So you don't need to now start, doing that without the aid of a tool. And it can save you a lot of energy and will help your life. So you are going to get faster feedback. You are able to give faster feedback to developers. You are able to cover high test coverage, a lot of, you are able to test more scenarios, right? Without necessarily putting manual effort. So, yeah, script is consistent and reliable. It brings consistency. That reliability is when you say reliable results. That reliability also depends on how you are able to write your code, the quality of code you are writing, because sometimes you can have what we call flaky test, right? Flaky test, because um, flaky test can be due to your network, can be due to some calls, API calls that are not properly done, right? So it could be, it could bring flaky test. So that reliability depends on the quality of code you are writing. But then consistency, of course, code don't get tired. I mean, your system cannot tell you I'm tired. It will keep working. Except you overuse the system such that you overuse the memory, then it will start giving you signal that I cannot work again. But if everything's in good condition, your system doesn't get tired. Whatever you have told your system to do here today, the system will still do it again today and tomorrow. So that means um, the system, the code doesn't burn out because it's not human. Then we have support agile and CI/CD. With the agile and CI/CD process, a minute, guys. I'll be back. Just 2 minutes, guys. Sorry, guys. I had an emergency I needed to quickly attend to out there. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, yes.
All right. Thank you for holding on. Yeah, so it supports Agile and CI/CD. So CI/CD means continuous integration and continuous deployment, right? So this is another thing entirely. Maybe sometimes we can talk about DevOps. So we'll probably have a session on a webinar where someone will come and teach you guys on DevOps. So, but that's not what I'm going to do right now. So we have cost effective. Yeah, you mentioned this the other time on the non-ground, right? So we also have improved quality software. These are important. So this is how to install Cypress, right? Please watch the videos that I shared earlier so you know how to install it. Now, in Cypress, we have different types of automation tools, right? Cypress is just one of them. We have Selenium. Selenium is very popular. Selenium has been for a very long time. Cypress is still only recent, like it's not far like as old as Selenium. Now we have a lot of other test automation to like Playwright. We have Playwright, we have Catalog, we have Cucumber, we have Scandium, we have a whole lot. We have Test Complete, a lot of test automation to out there. And I can tell you categorically that you don't need to learn everything. You just need to be very, very good in a particular one. Very, very, very good in a particular one. And once you are very good in a particular one, you are able to now, you know, export that knowledge in the one that you are very good at in achieving the same results in others. So that's why I always encourage people to focus on one thing first. Learn that, know it. Don't be jacks of all trade at the beginning. Once you are very good in one, then you can start diversifying to the others. Do you understand? Hold on, please. Yeah, sorry once again. I'm having some disruption over here. Um, okay, so as I was saying, right, so we have different test automation tools, but then just be very good at one. And here we are just looking at Cypress, okay? Now, there are things we call CSS selectors, right? So this CSS means cascading style sheet. For those who have been our web automation, web development class, I don't need to start explaining all of this. That should have been explained to you. So cascading style sheet is what is used to style your web elements. So I'll put it at that. So Cypress makes use of these cascading style sheets syntaxes, right? to select web elements, and some of them includes ID, class, attributes, con contains, and element selector. Now, let me quickly do something that will be more interactive, that will make you understand what I'm saying better. Okay, so we have attributes and we have attributes. Okay, let me put it this way. We have a person. A person, Ogoshuku. Ogoshuku is a person. And Ogoshuku has different attributes. Ogoshuku, what are your attributes? Can you tell us the attributes that you have?
I have eyes, I have legs, I have hands.
Yep, yep,
Yes.
yep.
Mm.
Okay, good. Now, but let's put it this way. Ogoshuku, a person, is an object, right? And Ogoshuku has a name, right? Then the name of Ogoshuku is Ogoshuku Okonko. Now, this is it. That name is an attribute. Ogoshuku Okonko is a value of that attribute name. So Ogoshuku has an address, maybe permanent home address. That permanent home address is Ogoshuku's attribute. But Ogoshuku's permanent home address will now say number 2, Ajaokuta, Jogbolo Street, Ikonko, Bauchi. That is a value of that attribute address. Ogoshuku has date of birth. That date of birth is an attribute. So let's say Ogoshuku was born in 2003, right? That 2003 is the value of that attribute, date of birth. Now, Ogoshuku also has, what again? Let's say a car, all right? So what is the model of that car? What is the build or name of the car? Let's say Toyota, all right? Toyota Camry or whatever. That is the value of the attribute car of Ogoshuku. Now, see that as an object in a software system. So I'm going to reshare my screen. Hopefully you are able to get in this. Please, what can you see on my screen right now?
Tools, pre-K, first grade, 3 grade.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, this is it. If you look at this guy, this is an element. Okay, I don't even want to use this. Let me use something. Let's even go to Escrimasha website. Let's use Escrimasha website. What are you seeing right now?
SK commercial. Okay.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Let's see whether we can see something to use here. Now, this is about if I inspected this guy, if I inspect this guy, you may not see my inspect right now. Or are you able to see my inspection?
So,
No.
Okay.
Who's
Yeah,
there?
I might have to reshare my screen to
Well,
full screen.
we can see your okay, your full screen. Okay.
Yep. Coming. I am coming to something else. Right, beauty. Okay. I just stopped sharing my screen, so I'm going to reshare. Anyways. Okay, so are you able to see my full screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet. You should be seeing it already.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's here now. It's here. You can see it now.
Okay, good. Now, can you see my inspection? Hello, guys. Can you see my inspection?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Good, good. Now, so I'll go to register screen, the registration page. Okay, okay. So this is the registration page of our website. Now, if I click inside this, enter first name, and I inspect, okay, you're going to see an ID. This is an ID. This ID is a selector. This name, together with this, is value and the attribute selector, right? This, okay, now let's put it this way. This first name, this feed, first name, as you can see, look at the label, first name. This is it, first name feed. Or this is the label actually, first name feed. Now, this first name is an object, right? Just like I explained with Ogoshuku the other time, Ogoshuku is a person, an object. So first name, this first name is an object, the object. Now, the object has different attributes. Okay, so this is the first name I'm actually looking for. So this first name is an object. This object has different attributes. So the attributes are first, this first name has an input tag, It has, because it's actually an input. Input is anything you're going to write something inside. So it's an input tag. So now it has an attribute, data ID. So this data ID is equal to first underscore name. That's the attribute, and that's the value. This is an attribute. Attribute is data dash ID, and the value of that attribute is first underscore name. This something like dash. That's what we call underscore name. Then it has another attribute of type, and the type value is text. It has another attribute of class, and the class value is all that you are seeing right here. Okay, so it has another attribute name, and this attribute name is what we are seeing as first name. Then it has another attribute ID, and the ID value is first name, first underscore name. It's also the ID. Now, so this guy is an element, an object, right? So you can refer to it as an element or an object, but let's say an element, right? An element that has different values. So if you want to identify these elements now, if you want to find out this element in this DOM, this whole guy is called DOM. If you look up here, you see document HTML, document type, this doc type HTML. So we call it DOM, document object model. So the full meaning of DOM is document object model. So this whole guy contains everything about this sign up page. That's all you have inside all these guys. All right. So now for those who have attended our web dev class, you understand this better. But what I'm just trying to show you here is that inside this document, if I want to identify this particular element first name,
Yeah, I can't see your screen, sir.
You can't see my screen.
We can see it. I think it's our internet. It's your internet. We can see it.
Sorry, or it's your internet to see some other people have confirmed they can see it. You may want to log out and log in back. So now for me to be able to identify with this, for me to be able to spot this guy, using my automation tool, I need to be able to select either the ID or the class or the attribute plus the value, right? Or the get element. So I should be able to select it. So your first major assignment is being able to identify all these fields, being able to identify them. Once you're able to identify them, then you to automate by identifying them. So now by locating them. Now, so let me do something now. So this is first name, ID. So I want to use the ID. So ID is always you can use hash symbol. ID is always used by it's always through hash symbol. You represent ID with hash symbol. That's what I'm saying. Now you see, the moment I just put hash and I put first name under first underscore name, notice that this guy is matching 1 of 1. So it's telling me that I'm able to identify this element. The moment I'm pressing enter, that's why this guy is getting highlighted. So I'm putting my mouse here, right? And I'm pressing enter. The moment I press enter, it gets highlighted. So it's telling me that I'm able to see it, right? So for this last name, okay, now, so that's ID. I'm using ID. Now, if I want to use class, let's see, what class does he have? So this guy has a long, I don't like using class most of the time because class is most of the time used in styling. All right. So and styling do change. Developer can come tomorrow and come and make changes to the class, make changes and some other stuff. And then once it does that, your code will start breaking. So I prefer to make use of ID because most time ID is an ID. ID simply means identity. So it therefore means that your ID most of the time will not change. It's not expected to change. So that's why it's better to make use of IDs. Where there is no ID, make use of attribute plus a value. So in this case now, I just want to show you because you can also make use of a class. So I'm going to copy all of these guys. Copy, right? And I'm going to press dot. That word class is, you can make use of dot for it. So let's see. It's not picking this. Okay, let me do something. Class. Okay. Okay, it's finding two things right now. So it's finding this and this. So you see, we can actually drill further to select to make use of this class, but you now start iterating in your code. It is not needful. The moment it's not matching 1 of 1, just look for another attribute or value you can make use of, right, for that particular element. So in this case now, you can see that this class is speaking to two elements already. So it's already speaking to two elements. It's speaking to both the first name and the last name. It's speaking to both the first name and the last name. So both first name and last name are using the same class, but you need something to identify them uniquely. And that is why it is better to make use of IDs. IDs will not be the same. So now in this case, let's look at last name. For last name, you will see that it also has ID of underscore last name. So if I put it in my find in my search box and I put the ID symbol, which is hash, and you can see that it's showing 1 of 1. So that is how to identify web elements practically. That's just the simplest way to go about it. Now, I can use attribute plus value. Remember the other time I told you that that for instance, this ID now is an attribute. The value of this ID is last name, last underscore name. I can use the two together. I can choose to use the two together. So if I use the two together, it will now be like, you first put this square bracket, you paste it inside, you use both the opening and closing square brackets. Once you do that, you see that it's picking 1 of 1, right? Because I'm making use of ID, the attribute and the value. So which is ID equals to last underscore name. So like this, you'll be able to pick the element. So there are three major ways you can. There are more than, in fact, what I'm showing you right now is just the basis of the basis. There are other ways you can go about it, but I'll just stay with this, right? So now you can make use of ID, you can make use of class, you can make use of attribute plus the value. So these three ways, then you'll be able to get your web element. You can also make use of SPAT. There's something called SPAT, but we are not going to that. Now, if I right click on this particular thing, I come to copy, you're going to see different things. Copy outer HTML, copy selector, copy ASPAT, copy styles, copy SPAT, copy full SPAT. So you can make use of this SPAT as well in Cypress, but you will need an extra plugin for it to work. So because of that, I won't just go through that. There are some elements that developers um, might not probably build them in the right way. They won't put attribute, they won't put they won't put IDs, they won't put class, or even if they put class, the class may be matching other elements. So it may be difficult for you to find. So in such a case, just make use of expert. So yeah, like selectors and locators is entire class on its own, like is an entire thing on its own level, because as you'll be good in automation as good as you are in making, in locating web elements, right? Because if you cannot even locate web elements in the first place, then you can't even automate. So that's the beginning, the basis of all. So that's what I want to show you in this regard. So now I'll be switching to something else. So at this very point, I'll be going to the test automation to Cypress. So can you guys see my screen? What are you seeing currently?
We're seeing your Visual Studio, right?
So I see my Visual Studio. Okay, good. Very well, very well. So this is what I will do, because the reason why I'm not going to start afresh, like installing. Can you please mute yourself? Okay, so the reason why I'm not going to start from the very basis of the basis, like say installing Cypress, it's going to take a lot of time. So I'm not going to do that. So because of that, I'm going to make use of existing projects. So this is what I will do. I'll just create new files. All right. I'll create new files that we can make use of. So it makes the work better for us. So we can be out of here in no time. Okay, so now let's assume that let's assume that you have installed Cypress. Once you install Cypress, all these three guys will be there for you. Package.json, package dash log.json, cypress.config.json, node modules. These modules where all the Cypress libraries and everything are. Support is where you put some commands and some test files. Your test file. Okay, let me put it this way. There are codes that you want to set up globally, all right, in your Cypress files. So you come to either this e3.js or commands to do some setup here. So you also do some setup globally as well in your cypress.config.js. All right. So we'll get to all of this. Now we have fixtures. Fixtures is where you store your data, your test data. So all your test data, whatever test data you have, you can store them in features. So there's what we call page object model approach. That's for advanced level anyways. So for the page object model approach, you won't hard code anything in your test file. Everything will always be inside your features file. Then we have the end-to-end file. This is where your test files, your web element, everything will be stored and will be used. This is where you will be running your tests. Then we have download. So I think I downloaded something recently. That's why I'll just delete this guy. Yeah. Okay. So now, so Cypress will give you all these guys after you have um after you must have installed it. So now I'm going to come to, like, we are starting afresh. So I'm going to click Cypress. I'm going to click end to end. Right under this end to end, I want to create a new file. So I want to create a test file. And even we are doing page object model, I will create a folder. Inside the folder, I will create two more folders. I will now put one as web elements, and I'll put the other as test files. All right. So like that, you are separating your web element from your test files or your actual test files. But we are not going to all of them. So here, I'm just going to create a new file. So this file, what do we want to do? Okay, let me show you something. Let me show you what we want to do actually. Let me show you what we want to do so that you understand what I'm trying to do over there. Okay, so this website, this is for just automation practice. Okay, so can you guys hear me, please?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So this is for automation. This is just an automation site. There are lots of sites online. You can just go to Google, browse demo sites for automations, for test automation. You'll find a lot of websites you can make use of out there. So now this is a website for test automation, right? And these element forms. Oops, I don't want to click. Go back. These elements, forms, alert and frame windows, widgets, interactions, bookstore application. So all of these guys, please get your hands on them. Automate as much as you can, right? Just practice, and the more you practice, the more you get better at all of these things. And you can find some other websites to make use of as well. So I'll click on this element. So what do we want to do? First, we want to access this site using Cypress. Once we access this site, the next thing we want to do is to click on elements. So once we click on elements, what do we want to do? We want to click on this test box. Once we click on this test box, we want to fill up all these guys: first name, email, current address, permanent address, and then we want to click on submit. The moment we click on submit, something will come up. So let me just type names. Let me say logo, right? Let me say logo at yourplay.com. Let me say Lagos, Nigeria. Let me say still Lagos, Nigeria. Okay. So I've done that. Then the moment I click, then after typing all of these things like we want to do, then we'll now click on submit button. But before we do that, what I want us to do first is we locate this element, we locate this element, we locate this element, we locate this element, right? We find out whether anything is inside. Is it empty? If it is empty, okay, good. Let's assume something is even inside. There is a way you can use your code to clear what is inside. After clearing, you check whether it is empty. Then you now type inside it. So we will do some of these things. Now, if I click submit, right, you see this thing coming up. Then after I click on submit, how do I know? How do I actually know that it has been submitted? It is based on the response that this system gives me. For instance, if you click on submit, you see registration successful. So that registration successful, you will capture it with your test automation code. So once you capture it, you do what we call assertion on it. Should be visible. So the moment you click on this button, PAMS, you are saying, help me capture that registration successful is shown. That is how to know whether it passes or not. So now we are going to assert something here, maybe a name or something, just to contain that, okay, after submission of this thing shows. That's how to know that it has passed or not. Then after doing that, what do we want to do next? I think we'll just do one or two here. Maybe upload something. We'll click on this guy, upload and download. After clicking on it, we'll click on this download button to download something. After that, we are going to what's it called? Upload something here too. and then to see how it works. So that's what we are going to do today here. We are going to click on this guy, fill up all of these guys, submit, assert that that submission is done. Then we'll come down here, click on this download to download something, and upload a document. So that's what we'll be doing today. So tomorrow, if we have the time, we're going to get to forms, this practice form. Then we'll fill up all of this guy and submit it as well. So here you're going to get to pick drop downs, select city, upload file, use check boxes, set date. You know, we are going to do all of this. All right. Moving on. I'm going to bring up my. What are you seeing currently, guys?
Visual Studio.
Visual Studio. Okay, beautiful. Now, so I'm going to just click on. I want to create a new file, right? So I'm going to say new file. So we'll see. What should we see now? Let's say I don't want to use visits. Automating dot. Okay, let's say practice scholars dot sci dot ds. So this sci, this cy means Cypress, this ds means JavaScript. Okay. Now I've just done this. Up to that's practice scholars dot sci dot ds. I just named it anything I want, right? So the next thing I want to do, the very first thing, test cases are what you are writing. Now, you need to know how to translate your manual test cases into automation. That's why your manual skills in test must be solid before you even start automating. If you don't know the manual test cases, creation, how to go about all of those stuff, it's difficult for you interpreting it into automation. So that's why you need to first know the manual part very well first. So now there is this particular reference types equals to Cypress. All right. So if you don't put this guy, your code will not run. And if peradventure it runs, it's not going to work. It's going to bring up some errors. So this guy should always be there. Sometimes you can set it up globally in your config.js file. Like I put this guy here now. Const define config require Cypress. So like I put it here, you don't need to put it here again. But for some reason, I just want to put it there. Now, we have what we call test suits. We have test suits, and we also have test cases. Guys, a moment, please. Just a minute. Okay, guys. Sorry, I had an interruption there. Okay, so we are inside our VS Code. So now, for every test cases, okay, let me show you something. Let me show you something quickly. A quick one. I'll go back to the ST Marshall website. Now, if you create test cases for all these guys, first name, last name, if you create test cases for all these guys, inside what test suite will you say they are? All the test cases you create. Let's say you create test cases for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the submit 8. Then data privacy 9. So all the 9 test cases now, what will be their test suits? I'm asking a question, guys. What will be the test suit? Okay, maybe I should tell you what test suit is about. What is a test suit? Let's start like that. What is a test suit? Who wants to answer me? What's the test suit?
I think test suite is like a combination of test cases.
Say that again, please.
The combination of test cases.
Combination of test cases. Okay. Any other person, please? Another angle to it. Oh yeah. I want to know whether we're even here. I mean, another person. Another person. Okay, maybe I should just call someone back. Adedayo, what is a test suit? She's not on this call. Ormadi, what is a test suit? Immaculate, you are saying something?
I'm not sure, but I would say probably a file that shows what you found about your test case and the actions to follow. Like a
You
file
guys
that
should
keeps
make use
record
of Google now. Say you have phone. You go to Google and check. I just want us to be interactive. I want to be sure that you are following the class in itself. Go to Google, check. Go to ChatGPT, check. Come and tell me what is a test suit. What's Christopher saying?
Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, Christopher, please go ahead.
Yeah. A test suite is a structured collection of multiple test cases, scenarios, or scripts designed to validate specific behaviors, functional requirement, or performance aspect of a software application.
Okay, makes sense. Any other person?
Okay, I think I can.
Yes, I want those costs to be there.
So I think the test suite includes input and conditions necessary for executing test
But maybe
cases.
we can now remove the project.
Is it what?
Include the input and conditions necessary for executing test cases effectively.
Okay. All right. So in this case now, all these guys, inside what test suite, what would be the name of the test suite for all these elements? If you are the one creating test suite, what would be the name of the test suite?
Sign up test suite.
Sign up. Simple. It's as simple as ABC. Sign up test suite. So in this case now, you just make it a sign up test suite. You can't go and put all these test suites now and go and put them under terms and conditions as all these test cases. I'm going to put them under tests. That's why it's called structured. You can't pick all of these guys and go and put them under login. No, now. Do you understand? You can't go and put them under events. You can't go and put, so it has to be structure by structure. So in our code now, this describe, So I'm going to say, let's say, okay, let's call it practice scholars. So one of the beauties of this guy is currently we have AI um, already installed, all right, by Cypress. They have integrated with AI, so therefore it makes your job a lot easier, all right. So this is described. That is a test suite. So every test you are going to be writing will always be within this describe block for this particular page. So all the test cases are grouped under this describe. So in this case now, I'm just going to say, before I start writing my test cases, I'm going to say before each. So what is before each? So what is before each and when is before each used? So I'm going to explain that in a moment. Now, before each means before every test. Before every test. So this semicolon is to show, it's always at the back of every parenthesis like this. So this one is just telling us that, oh, this is the end of this block. This is the end of this block, and this is the end of another block. So that's what this semicolon is. Now, for every test cases, before you run every test case, please first run the code inside this before for me. That's what this before each means. Now, most of the time, what we put inside before each is the URL to the application you are about to test. Now, inside this config.js file, let me remove these guys. So I'll just do that again. Okay. So inside this config.js file, under this end-to-end. Now remember that this our test file is under this end-to-end folder. It's under this end-to-end folder. So whatever you want to set that will affect your test file or your test project inside this end-to-end file will be set inside this E2E block. So I want to set my base URL inside this E2E block. So here, I'm just going to say base URL. Now, what is my base URL? The URL to the application. Now, in this case, I will just go back and look for the URL to this system. So this is it. I'll copy the whole URL, demoqa.com, right? And I'll come back to my Cypress and I will paste it in like this. After pasting it in, I will put my comma. So having done this, I'll come back to my test file. So I will now say I want to access that that URL. I want to call it. So I will say sci.visit. So just like when you go online, what you are doing is you are visiting a site. So you are doing site.visit. Site simply means Cypress. So visit this site for me. That's what you are doing here. So here, I'm saying, sorry, something is, I didn't ask you to run. So I will say site.visit. Once I put that, I'll put brackets. Then I'll put hyphens like this, then dash, slash. So having put this slash, then like this, I will be able to access the site. Okay. So now, before I access this site, let's try to access the site. Let's see what happens. So if you want to access this site, let me do something. I want to close Cypress and run it from the beginning. It may take you a while, depending on your system, depending on the network you are using. So it depends on a number of things, right? For Cypress to run quickly. Okay. I'm waiting for this terminal to come back to normal,
Okay.
and then we are able to do that. So what I'm just simply saying in short is able to now access this website. Now you see you put this slash like this. This slash is helping you to access this cypress.config. This is what you are accessing here. You're accessing this URL. So once you set base URL, Cypress already recognizes that. The moment you set base URL and you put the URL like this, and you come into your test file and you call that URL, you say site of visit, Cypress automatically will go inside this site.config file, comes to this end-to-end block and look for the URL that you have set into the base URL and then launch it. So now, as you can see here, let me try to clear this up. New terminal. So you come up here, you click terminal, then new terminal. Once you have done that, it will navigate to the system will display a path to your project. So users, desktop, scholars, auto test. That's the name of this file. This file we are dealing with, scholars auto test. Now here, I want to open Cypress. I will say nps Cypress open. So there are few commands to install Cypress and all of that. Please go and watch those videos together. So the moment I click nps Cypress open and I click enter, Cypress is going to run. It's going to come up. Right, it's going to come up. Now, while Cypress is coming up, so once it's up, we'll run this site.visit something and then we're able to access it. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead to write some tests. So I want to write my first test. I will say it. Now, so this it is my first test. But before this first test, the first thing that will happen is that Cypress will run this URL for me. This website, it will be launched. Once the website has been launched, that's when I can now start operating on it. I mean, if you want to test anything, the first thing is to first access the website before you start doing anything. The same way in automation, you first access the website before you now start automating anything. Now we have accessed the website here. Then I want to click on these elements. I want to click on it like this. So how do I get that done? I will right click and I will inspect. So I'm currently inspecting these elements, this element here. So now, how do I access it? If I come here, this is the DOM, right? But I don't want to use this guy. I want to use this test. So I click on this test. I'm also seeing this, right? Now, if I click on this, it's still showing me all these elements, which is very okay. So how do I now access it? How do I get my what's it called? Your CSS selector or your locator to ensure that you locate it. So that's what we want to do now. Now, this is it. You can either click on, okay, so let's do it this way. I'm going to click this class now. I'm going to say Control F, then I put this guy here, just like I thought the other time, right? You see that it's machine 6, 1 of 6 machine, right? Can you see that? Can you see 1 of 6 machine?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So there is 1 of 6 machine, but I still want to use it like that. I want to show you another method to use. So let's try to use it. There is a method to use to capture even if it is matching different elements, but you will know that something is still identifying them uniquely. The first one, you see that this one is highlighting forms. Another one is highlighting alert frame and windows. Another one widgets. another one interactions, another one bookstore application, another one element. But it is this element that I want to capture, right? So I have selected this guy now. So what do I do? In my automation code, I want to write this. I will say, let's say selecting, okay, let's just say selecting elements and writing input tests. Okay, that's what we want to do. So I'll just say this. So once you are doing this, the first thing is you are going to write what you are trying to do, like a title for it. Then you put a comma, then a bracket, open and closing bracket. Then the next thing is arrow. You are going to put equals to, then greater than symbol, right? So that's the arrow. Then you put curly braces. This is what we call curly braces. Then you press enter like this. So once you have done that, I'm going to put semicolon here to mark the end of this particular block. So the next thing I want to do is I want to access that element. So I will say side.get. So Cypress, get for me this element. Okay, this is the element I want you to get for me. So I'll say dot contains element. Now, this is what I'm trying to do. I hope you are not getting confused yet. So this is what I'm trying to do. Now, I want to select this guy, but from my locator, what I selected is matching 6 different locators. If I use this guy just like that, I will not be able to click because Cypress will be confused. Which one do you want me to pick out of these 6? So I want to be able to select one. So I want to select the one with these elements. So I'm going to say anywhere you find this class, anywhere you find it, that now has elements as its maybe attributes now, or that has elements as its test, please click it for me. That's what we are trying to do now. I'm trying to say, first, go and locate in the DOM, anywhere you find this guy. Then, anywhere you find this guy and it's matching with element, click it. So that's what we're about to do. So I'm saying, go to the DOM, Cypress, get this guy for me. Wherever it contains elements, then what I want you to do is to click it. So you can do it this way, contains dot click. So I want you to go and do this for me, right? So that's what I want Cypress to do. Simple. So I'll come to my Cypress. I'll click on end-to-end testing. Remember, we run NPS Cypress, open the other time. It was done. So the moment you click end-to-end and you select a browser, it's going to come up. So it's trying to come up right now. So you can see this guy, specs. So all these specs is where you are going to see all your test file. So I'm going to come here. I will collapse this. I will collapse this. You are going to see practice colors. This was the file we created the other time. So I'm going to click on this file. So once I click on it, I'm already running the test. So we are trying to visit the website. Then after visiting the website, we are trying to also click on the one with elements. So let's see what happens. Again, depending on your network and your laptop, it might be slower, it might be faster. So let's just wait for this to finish running. Now, can you see that the website is up? So this guy, you see that we are not seeing the whole thing right now. We are not seeing, except I scroll down now. You are not seeing it, but I want you to click on these elements. So I just scroll it into view. we can also make use of Cypress to scroll into view. So let's wait for it to click. It's still running this site. It's still running this guy. Now you see that it has clicked. Can you see? Can you see it has clicked on it? Hello guys, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, I just clicked on it. That's why you have this. You just clicked on it. So now I'm going to go back to the test file. Now I want to do something. I want to first of all, because if you notice the other time, once this site was up, that site, when it was up, right? It was, when this site was up, you will see that I had to scroll down myself, right? But I don't want to scroll down myself. I want Cypress to scroll down for me. So after doing side dot get dot this guy, get this guy for me, I will say dot scroll into view. So scroll this element into view for me. Once you have scrolled into view, if it contains this element, click on it. So it's already running by itself. So by default, once you are making changes, Cypress will be running by itself. But there is a way to actually stop it. There's a way to stop it. Okay, so we are getting an error. It's saying, okay. Cypress is saying can only be used to scroll to one element. You try to scroll to 6 elements. Can you see what I'm saying to you guys? You see that it is difficult to for Cypress when it is not one element you are selecting. Remember that this guy is matching 6 different elements. The only thing we are doing to identify the difference is we are saying if it contains elements, click on it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up this guy. I'm going to take it away from that 9 and put it here. Let's see what happens. Let's see whether this will work. Otherwise, you might have to use an element that is matching with 1. Can you see that it works? Hello guys, are you with me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, good. Can you see that it scrolls by itself and then click? Now, why didn't it work the other time? It wasn't working because I was calling this scroll element immediately on this web element, on this our class. And because this class is matching 6 different elements, Cypress doesn't know which one to scroll to. But the moment I switch this scroll element into view to after it has identified that I want to pick the one with element, it worked. So this was the flow. Let me put it this way so you understand it better. Contains dot contains element. If you find anywhere it contains this element, scroll it into view, then click it. That's what we are saying. It's just like a normal English. Cypress, get this web element for me. Anywhere this element contains the text element, scroll it into view, then click on it. That's what we have done. What I first did was I said, Cypress, get this element, scroll it into view, then anywhere it contains elements, click on it. That was what I was doing at first. And it wasn't working because this guy is matching 6. He doesn't know which one to scroll to. But the moment I now said, okay, wherever you have seen the one that it contains elements, scroll to it, it worked. So that's how to go about this kind of things. Now, let's do something else. Now, after we have scrolled into view, what do we want to do next? The next thing we want to do, okay, I don't want this thing to be running when I'm making changes. So what do? You come to your cypress.config.js. Inside it, you say watch for file changes like this, and you set it to false. You put comma. The moment I do this, it's not going to, if I'm making any changes any further, it's not going to automatically run it. All right. It's not going to automatically run it until I have changed it myself. Okay, so let's move ahead. What we have been able to do so far is we have been able to navigate to this website. After navigating to this website, we have been able to click on the element card. So the next we want to do now is that we want to, let's go back to the site. After clicking on this guy, we want to click on this text box as well. We want to click on this text box as well. So how do we click on it? We are going to inspect and also pick something there. So from inspecting now, as you can see, it has an ID of this guy, right? Look at it. ID equals to item -0. So I will do control find. That is, I'll go to my search box and search. If you look at it again, you see that this is also matching sys elements, right? This is also matching sys elements. So if you look at the sys element, these are the sys elements. So let's look at the sys element matching. Okay, so it's matching 6 different elements. So these are the elements. Now, what do we do in this case? We can also use the same format we used the other time. I'll just copy this guy, come back to my Cypress and say sci.get, right? I'm copying and I'm saying anywhere you find contains. So what is the contain now? Come to your dashboard and see. Anywhere it contains test boss. Because that's what we are doing. Let me scroll up for you to see well. Now, this is it. This is the element ID item -0. But this is the thing we are looking for, S-boss. If I open this one, you see ID item -1. Normally, it's supposed to work because if you look at these IDs, all these IDs are unique, right? You see item 0, item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. So, but now, if you look at it again, you see that this ID equals to item -0 is used somewhere else on the table. I mean, in the DOM. It's used somewhere else in the DOM. So that's why we can't make use of it. You see, it's used somewhere else in the DOM. But out of everywhere it was used, I only want it to click on the one that has test boss. So because of that, I will just copy this test boss. Copy. I'll come back to my Cypress and I will say anywhere it contains this guy, I want you to click. So I want you to click. So let's run it again. Hello guys, are you still with me?
Yes.
So we are waiting for it as it is running. Now, while that is going on, let's continue to, because of time, let's continue to copy other web elements and trying to do some other things with it. Now, if I come back to this website now, once I click on this guy, all these guys, full name, email, current address, permanent address, all these guys are going to show up. And then I also want to click on submit button. So what do? I'll come here, I'll just inspect. Just the normal thing we have been doing. And if you inspect, you're going to see ID. So I'll just copy this ID, right? And I'll do Control F. I'll just do it this way. So I want to use ID. And remember, I said ID. Once you are using ID, you can make use of hash symbol. The moment I put hash symbol equals to username, you see that it's matching 1 of 1. So I'm going to copy this guy. I'm just going to go straight to my code. Okay. So this has finished running. Now, as you can see, you see that first it's navigated to the website. After navigating to the website, it finds where this element is. It scrolled it into view. It clicked on it, right? This is it. Clicked on it. After clicking on it, the next thing is that it gets for us this guy, this test box. After getting it, it finds, oh, it contains test box. Then it clicks on it. After clicking on it, then we have this interface, right? We have this interface. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to perform actions inside all these guys and then click submit. So I'll come back here. I will say site.get, right? The first thing I want to do is to get the first name. The first name. I will say dot clear. Okay, let's even do something. Okay, don't let us go through that route. So I want to clear. Although nothing is inside that box, so clear will not necessarily be needed. So adding being by default, there are some applications by default, they will put test inside it. So you may want to clear the test first before you start putting anything inside it. So, but in this case, there is no need using clear. So I'll just say, okay, I want to do an assertion. Should be dot empty. I want to confirm whether that box is empty before I type inside it. So I'll now say, if it is empty, then type. I want to type name. So whose name? Somebody should volunteer. Use your name. Okay. Since nobody is volunteering, so I'll just use anybody's name that comes to my head. So now, this is what we are doing. We are saying, Cypress, go to the DOM, find wherever there is username. After finding it, help me as at that username field is empty. If it is empty, type this guy inside it. That's what I'm doing here. So I'll copy this guy. I'll come down. I'll paste it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to get I want to type inside email, right? So I'll click email. So if you look at this guy, email, I'm using the ID too. But this time I want to use the ID attribute plus the value. So I'll copy the entire thing. I'll come back here and I'll paste this old guy here. So now, I also want to find out that that field is empty. So in this case, I'll just put the email. I will say our hello at yopmail.com. Now, when you are writing codes, something is very important. It is called commenting. It is called commenting. You must be commenting, otherwise the code will become the code will be commenting you over time. So you have to be commenting when you start, because when your code becomes very, very bulky over time, different pages, different text files, it becomes confusing. Even you that wrote it will find it difficult to understand what you are writing if you don't put text or what is going on. So in this case, please a moment, guys. Sorry, guys, I want to take water. I'll be back in a moment.
And the bias lists.
Okay, sorry guys. While I'm trying to get water, let's continue with it. Okay, now what we have just done there was to um we have entered the email address. So the next thing we want to do. Okay, so I was talking about commenting, right? So here, if you want to comment starts with double slash like this. So with the double slash, you now see what are we doing? What are we trying to do here? Clicking on the element card. So that's what we did here. Here, what are we trying to do? You see, clicking on the test. You see, AI will even be helping you to do the whole thing. So now here, what are we trying to do? Typing in the full name feed, right? The next one, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? Come on now. Sorry. So type in the email feed, So the next we want to do is that we want to enter address, right? So we'll say entering the current address. Then, so I can say type where let's say I live where the sun rises and sets every day. Okay. So now the next one is I want to enter the permanent address. Entering the permanent address. So here I will say same as the one above. Okay. So now notice we have not gotten the element for these guys. So let's get that sharply. So I'll come back here. I'll say I want to get the element for this current address. So I'll just select ID current address. So in my search box, I'll put the hash symbol right here. You see it's matching 1 of 1. So I'll copy this, come back here and change it here. So I've done that. So the next one is permanent address, right? So let's see what is in the permanent address as well. So if I come here and click it, I will see permanent address. So if I do Control F and I paste it in, put the hash symbol, it's matching 1 of 1. So I'll copy this guy and then I'll come back here and put permanent address like this. So the last thing we want to do, I mean, it's not even the last, but another thing we want to do here after entering all of that is that I want to click on this submit button. So I want to inspect the submit button as well. So after inspecting, I can see the submit also has an ID. So I'll just copy this ID, Control F, I'll put the ID here. Oh, come on. So I'll put the ID here. So you can see that it's matching 1 of 1. So I'll come here and say side.get. So I'll say clicking on the submit button, right? I'll say side.get submit, right? You have to put the hash symbol, otherwise it will not work. So I'll now say here I'm not doing any assertion. I just want to click. There's no need doing any assertion, whether it's empty, is a button. So what you are doing there is to click. So if I click, what happens? Right? So if I come back here and I just put something random, something random, right? I'm just putting something random, right? Something random. And then I click submit. Okay, so this is validated yelpmail.com. So if I click submit, you see that it brought out name, email, address, and permanent address. So for me to be able to know that this thing actually submit, I need to capture the outcome. So I will this guy. So again, I'll come back. I want to inspect this name. So now in this name, this is what I will do. I will say, if I expand it, you see that I say name, and the value of the name is what I put here, right? Now that tells you that whatever you put, this is the same way the DOM will render it. It's just that whatever value you put is what will change. So what I will now do is that I will select this guy, right? As I'm selecting it right now. So it's matching 1 of 1. So I will now say, what I'm going to do is an assertion. All right. So I will come here. I will say side.get, right? So this is what I'm doing here. And I'm now saying dot should have dot test. Have dot test. What's the name of the person we are entering? If we come here, what's the name we are entering? This is the name we are entering, right? So I want you to have this test. So that's how to know that, okay, what we have done is what it was returned. I can also go ahead to assert the rest because we have more than one there. We have email, we have permanent address, but we don't want to go through all of that since all of them are in the same, they are in the same class. So I'll just pick one. One is enough. So I'm picking name. I'm saying assertion to confirm that the feed name was submitted successfully. That's what it is. So what do we do? Let's run our code. So I'm going to run it now. Let's wait for this to be done. Okay, that doesn't work. I mean, if you look at it, everything we did was working, right? A while ago was typed, a while ago this was typed, the button was submitted, and we can see this, but our assertion wasn't working. Our assertion wasn't working. So why is it not working? We need to find out. So let me inspect this guy directly from here. So after inspecting, we're probably going to use contain over there instead of should have the test. But I want to know why. Now, if you look at it, it has even told us why actually. If you look at this guy, it says timeout trying to have test or hello, but the test was name or hello. Can you see that? So that means that whatever we are putting here must match exactly what is in the DOM. And since we don't know what exactly is in the DOM, what I will do is to change this have.test to contain tests, contain.test or while. So if it contain or while it is going to pass. If we say have.test, it must match exactly. That's the difference between those two assertions. So in this case, I'm just going to change this guy to contain. I'm going to show you that contain, and then I'm going to run it again. Do you know why I'm changing it to contain? Please, anyone? Why am I changing this guy to contain from half.test to contain.test? Anyone like that? Please, let's be quick. No time.
We are simply saying that that particular element the value must contain OWA below.
Yes. Why am I changing? Because before I put half.test, but it wasn't passing. Why? Look at it. It says this is the assertion, right? And it failed. Why did it fail? It says assert expected. I expect that this element should have a while low, right? But Cypress is saying I couldn't find a while low, but I found name column or low. That's what I found. I couldn't find a while low. And I said that the reason why it is failing is because when you use half.test, whatever you are putting as the value must match exactly what is in the DOM. And because we don't know exactly what is going to be returned in the DOM, then we are changing this half.test, this half, to contain. So we are saying if it contains this test, just pass it. But if you are saying must have, then it must be everything in that DOM. Is that clear? Hello?
Yeah, we're here, sir.
I'm asking whether that is clear. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Are you just saying yes, so that we can move on? Oh, God Almighty. Don't worry. You understand it better later.
We'll get it there. Small, sir.
Anyways, so what I'm just saying is that, ordinarily we are done with our testing by submitting. But how do we know that what we submitted is correct? How do we know that it has passed? If we are not looking at the system, we won't know. Of course, you can't be pausing your automation to check whether it passed or not. So you need to put assertions. Assertions are a way to know that it has passed or it doesn't pass. So now that I have clicked and the system has returned the outcome to me, that outcome is what I need to assert on. So I am asserting on these guys. I'm asserting on this outcome, and I'm only picking the name. I can assert on this, I can assert on this, I can assert, but I'm not picking name. So everything here, they are in the same class. So once any of this is passing, then I assume that everything passes. So I'm just picking the element for this name. So, and that was the element we picked here, ID. And I'm now saying that inside this ID, let me assert that it contains a text Owaielo, because Owaielo was the name that we imputed here. So if it contains Owaielo, then we are saying that it has passed. So now let me go back and do that. So let's run this test again. I'm going to run the test again.
Oguchuku, your mic is on.
Click on your employee details. Employee details. Click on the employee details.
Can you see how Cypress is running? Good. Can you see that it's passing now? Can you see it? It's saying expected. to contains test or while low, and it was able to find it. So before, what we are doing is half dot test. Half dot test is saying every test here, this name, everything must match. So anytime you say half, then it must match exactly whatever is returning. But when you say contain, it means it can contain any of those things. It can be named, it can be. So the moment we say contain, it doesn't have to match exactly, but if it contains a test, it's for instance saying I live in Germany. If I say I live in Germany, if I use must have dot test and I say Germany, it will fail. But if I say contains Germany, it will pass. Because in that I live in Germany, it contains Germany. But if I say I live in Germany and I said have the test Germany, it will fail. Because the test I'm saying should have is it should be expecting is I live in Germany. It has to be completed. It has to be exact for have dot test to pass. But if you just say Germany, but I'm using what contains is going to pass because it contains Germany. Is that clear? Hello, guys. Is that clear? Now, if you look at these guys, you are going to see assert. All these guys are assertions. Now, remember, we are using assertions that they should be empty. So those are the assertions that are passing here. So assertion must be used on every line of codes, actually, to know that your test is actually passing or they are not. Because if you are not putting assertion, your test will be flaky. So you will be running tests, everything will just be going, and you will think they are passing. So it is assertion that will help you to know whether your expected matches your results. Do you understand? So it's assertion that will help you to know whether your expected matches your actual result matches your expected result. So at this junction, guys, we might have to end it today. I want us to actually look at this other guy. This one, upload. I want us to look at upload. Well, upload doesn't take time. Let's quickly run it. Just so now I want to create another test block. All these ones are in the same test. All these guys, they are just the same test. They are the same test. All of them, they are inside the same test case. So I want to create another test case. So if I want to create another test case, it does it. So here I'm going to say downloading and uploading. I want us to go to another thing tomorrow, uploading a file, right? So equals to greater than symbol and then like this. So now the first thing I want to do is clicking on the download button to download a file, right? That's the first thing I want to do. And I will say side dot
validate field leg
dot get, right? So what do I want to get? I want to click on a download button. So I will come back to this guy and I will just inspect download. So now that I click on download, on the download button, look at this guy. So let me pick that again. Okay, now you see that it's href. Now this href is often used for links, right? So you can see that if I click on it, it's going to download something for me. So I can right click like this and say copy, then and say selector, Control F. So you can see download button. So this is the selector. So I'm coming. I want to do something right here. Is somebody raising hands? So download button, you can see one of one. One of one. That's what it's showing me now. One of one. Can you see it? So I'm just going to copy this guy right away and come down here and paste it here. So if you are downloading, what are you doing? If you want to download, what will you do? Hello, guys. If I want to download now, what will I do? Hello? Are we still here? Hello? I want to be sure we are here before we proceed.
Yeah,
Hello, sir.
we're here.
So if I want to download, what will I do?
You click on the download button.
On the download button now. I just want to be sure that we are together. Dot click.
Yes.
So that's it. That's how to download. As simple as that. Yeah. So the next thing is so if I click, then the next thing is uploading a file. So I will say site.get. After downloading, the next thing is uploading a file, site.get, right? So if I want to upload a file, this is the button to upload a file. This says select file, choose file. So I will inspect it. So after inspection, you can see this guy here, right? Let's see whether it matches 101. Is it matching? I can't see whether it's matching or not. It's right there. Okay. Okay, I was using another place. So now it's matching 101. So I'm just going to paste it in here. So I will say, okay, there is something we need to know, actually. There's something we need to know. So remember I told you the other time that whatever you are doing, your fixture file is where you store your data, right? So this file now, I want to store it inside fixture. So you are going to come to your files. I'll come to downloads. So inside its downloads, I'm going to select a file. I'll just copy like this and paste it in. So because I already put it there, I want to replace. So it's still the same file. I just replaced it. So you paste it under these fixtures. Once you have done that, the next thing you need to do is you say dot, we are trying to upload. So you say dot select file. Right. So once you say select file like this, you come to that file you want to select, you right click on it, you copy relative path. Copy relative path. So once I copy the relative path, I will now paste it inside the bracket for this select file. Okay. So I want the slash to be forward slash like this. So now, once I put it in like this, it's going to upload. But there is something that we need to pay attention to here. If it uploads, how do I confirm that it was actually uploaded? So let's see. So if I choose a file, sorry, because of YouTube policy, I'm going to close share my screen, then upload the file and share. That is it here. So I'm trying to pick a file into that. It's taking some time. Okay. Good. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen back now. Now, after uploading, this is what shows. You see, once I uploaded the file here, this guy shows up. Come on. Oh, again. All right. Let me do that just sharply again. So you can see this guy. The moment I uploaded it, this guy shows up. All right. So I want to find out whether this guy is showing. That's how to confirm that my upload was successful. All right. So I'll come back to my code. I'll say inside my code now, I'll say asserting that my file was uploaded successfully. Right. So how do I assert that it was uploaded successfully? That's what I want to do now. I'll say sci.contains. I will paste this file here. Dot should be dot visible. Right? So if this guy is visible, because this was the file I'm uploading, and I have uploaded it manually, and I've seen that this is what the result will be. So I'm now saying, after you have done this, please help me check whether this guy is visible. If it is visible, it will pass. If it is not, it will not pass. So if it is not visible, it will fail. Then you go and check and see why it was failing. All right? That's how you know that your test is failing or passing. Now remember that before we run this code, remember that after we access this website, we clicked on the card element. We also click on the test bus element, right? We click before we start filling the first name, last name, middle name, and all of that. So, and remember, we are using before each. Before each means that afresh, go to launch the website after you have run this code, this first test, launch the website. Before you run this guy, run the website again, launch it again. So it means that after our first test now, by the time it gets here, it will launch before it now starts running this guy. But by the time it is running this guy, this second test, it will fail because it will not find all these elements. It won't find it. And the reason why it will not find it is because we are not clicking on this and this in the second test. And we have to click on those ones. They are like preconditions, or they are like the text you have to do first before you do the others. So if you don't do those ones, it will fail. So let's run it and check that out before we now put them in the second test. You see that we are having two tests here now. Selecting element and writing input test. The second one, downloading and uploading a file. So this second one, downloading and uploading a file, will fail. And it will fail because we are not clicking, after visiting the website, inside that test, we are not clicking the element and we are not clicking the test. And in fact, as a matter of fact, it's not the test we are even supposed to click. We are supposed to click on the download, test. So let's see what happens. So the first test is running. So it's going to be the first thing that we are trying to load the website for the second test. It's trying to load the website now. You see that it's loading the website again. So that's what the work before it run the website every time it's trying to run a new test. So that's what the work of before each is all about. Now it's going to fail because after running these tests, after launching the website, we are not clicking on this element like we did in the first test. So we need to click on this guy first. After clicking on that guy, we also need to click on this upload and download. Then after clicking on this upload and download, that's when we can now do download and upload that we want to do actually. So I'll go back to my code and then I'll come up here. I'll come up here. I'll copy this guy here, right? We are clicking on that element is the first step. So I'll paste it here. We need to click on it before we can even do anything. So after clicking on it, we need to click on that upload button. Let me come to this place. So we need to click on, so after clicking on this guy, after clicking on this one, we need to scroll down and click on upload and download before we can now do what we want to do. So I will inspect this one. One machine of two. I don't need that right now, so that I don't use contains. See, one machine of two. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll just make use of contain here so that we can move faster. Upload and download. So I'll come back to my code. I will say clicking on upload and download item. So I will say side.get, right? So I'm clicking on this guy. I'll say dot contains, right? Upload and download. Then I will say dot click. So I want to click on anywhere this text is showing. Anywhere this text is showing inside this element. So let me go back to the upload and download. Okay. Now, so let's run it again. So now there's something I want to do. We call it skip. That's if you want to, if you don't want your the first test to run, you just want specific test to run. You don't want to run everything. You can skip a test to another test. So we already know that the first one is passing, right? So I'm going to skip this first one. I'll say dot skip. That's how to skip a test. So I'll come back here and run it again. So we are waiting for it. It's trying to run. I think it's taking time. Now look at what is going on. You see the first test is not running. Select element and write input test because it has been skipped. That's why it's not running. So the one that is running now is this, downloading and uploading a file. So if you are running your code, you may not want to run all the test files that you have. What you need to do is just to skip them, then run the one you want to run. It's as simple as that. So once this one is successful, then we are done for tonight. We'll meet tomorrow to look at how to automate a form. So it's running. It's firstly going to click on the element card. After clicking on the element card, it's going to click on the upload and download card. Okay, something is wrong there. Okay, let's check. Let's check what is going on. It's saying that Okay, there is what do you think is wrong? Can somebody notice what is wrong with this code? Can someone note what is wrong with this code? I mean, identify what is wrong with this code. Just pay attention. Look at it very well. Anyone? Okay. Because of our time, I will just say it. So if you look at this shoot, we didn't put dots at the back. That's the issue. So let's run it again. Come on. It's taking too much time right now. Okay. Still feeling again. Okay, so expected to find content, but never did. So in this case, you didn't find it. But if you can see it, right, you are going to see that the upload was successful, right? You can see it here. Now the upload was successful, but we need to assert to know, not to know why it's not working there. Anyways, if you look at this guy, you are going to see downloads. This download, Cypress, you can see this download folder. So whatever you have downloaded will be downloaded and be saved here. Can you see it? So once we click on download, the download is showing up here. So that's what we have downloaded. Now for this guy, let me check what I used on the other side. So it should be working actually. So it could be a flaky test or a delay, uncut error. Okay. Expected subject to be visible. Expected to contain content, but never did. Yep. So we are going to start from here tomorrow, and then we are going to automate a form, and we'll close for this automation session. This automation session is to give you a basic understanding of test automation and how it's just practically being done. Yeah, so that will be it. Any question from anyone? Any question, guys? Hello?
No question for me, sir.
What about us? No question?
No question, sir.
No question. Okay.
None
So
for now, sir.
no for now. Okay. Any other person? Everyone, no one has any question. Okay. So please, guys, what you need to do, test automation will take some time. Someone was asking me recently, oh, test automation, I would like to really get started with. I said, first, get your manual testing, to a level where you are very solid before you start test automation. Of course, there's nothing bad in doing it side by side, but like I said again, test automation will be successful using test automation when you are solid in manual testing. It's as simple as that, guys. All right. Once the video is available, please go back to them, watch everything, take your time, learn as much as you can, and then and then make sure that you don't stop where we are stopping with you guys. Make sure you learn further. But again, like I said, for those who are participating in the premium course, you are going to go further and further and further and further for them. Okay, guys, please do have a wonderful evening. Have taken, another extra 30 minutes. So, yep, we see you tomorrow evening again. Have